Tensions escalate in Middle East. 3 drones have hit a building in Caesarea in Israel. Reports have emerged that the drone attack has occurred near Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence. There has been no casualties so far. 2 drones were intercepted. And local media has stated that the drone was targeting Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence. This comes just after Israel has eliminated Hamas chief Yahya Sinwar in the southern Gaza. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader Khamenei has said that Hamas will survive after Sinwar's death. So that is the latest that is coming in. 3 drones have been intercepted so far, and reports have stated that one of them was targeted at the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence. And so far, no casualties have been reported. But this comes just after Israel eliminated eliminated the top leadership and Yahya Sinwar, and latest developments coming in amid this crisis between Israel and Hezbollah. My colleague Brian Thomas is joining us on the telecast. Brian, major news coming in. 3 drones have been intercepted so far, and one of them, according to reports, have been the target was Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence. What can you share the details regarding that?
Well, we are definitely, the report suggests that drones have launched from Lebanon, targeted Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's private residence in, Caesarea. Now, though, yes, there was no damage to the structure, but again, it's a big development. Even though, yes, no casualties were also reported, the Israeli military has confirmed that 3 drones were fired, one of which struck the home. Meanwhile, even Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei also, in his statement, emphasized that despite losses, Hamas remains resilient, highlighting the continuing resistance of the axis of resistance as well. Now, the event also points to escalating tensions in the region, particularly between Israel and groups operating from Lebanon, with broader implications for regional powers like Iran. Now, the drone, it's very important to note, Ria, the drones that were used in the attack on the, Caesarea, identified as the Shahed 101, likely an electric motor version, which was capable of flying at low altitude below the radar detection level, which is 200 meters or lower, or for over 70 kilometers. Now, this allowed it to reach its target undetected, striking a building also in, Caesarea, where Netanyahu's private residence is located. And the low heat and sound signature of the Shahed 101 makes it particularly difficult to detect, representing a significant threat in drone warfare, especially in high security areas like Caesarea or north of Tel Aviv. Now, this event also underscores the growing sophistication of drone technology and its use in regional conflicts like this.
All right. We also have on the telecast J.S. Sodhi. He's an international affairs expert, and Suresh Goyal. And J.S. Sodhi, I want to bring you into this conversation now. 3 drones were launched and 2 have been intercepted, and one of them hit Caesarea area, which was near Netanyahu's residence. So this comes just after Israel claimed and which led to the death of the top leadership, that is Yahya, and he was the person who died, and this comes just after that. How do you assess the situation on the ground? I think we're facing some connection issues. I'll ask the question again to J. Sodhi, as you see the situation on the ground, it continues to escalate, and it goes from worse to worse. And then now, after Israel eliminated Yahya, now we are seeing that Hezbollah launched 3 drones, and 2 were intercepted by Israel, and 1 hit this Caesarea area, which was near Netanyahu's residence. And the reports have stated that the target was the Israeli Prime Minister's residence. So a very key development that is taking place. How do you assess the situation?
Jai Hind, Riya. It's my honor to be on your esteemed channel and a privilege to be with the co-panelists. Well, Ria, after Israel has been pretty successful in eliminating the top leadership of Hamas as well as Hezbollah, such attacks on key Israeli officials was expected. But the Israeli Defense Forces have intercepted 2 of the 3 drones. But one drone hitting the building where Netanyahu's private residence is there is indeed a matter of deep concern. Well, in the next few weeks, the war will take a more ugly turn because both Hamas and Hezbollah would try to project to the international community that with the killing of their top leadership, their combat potential has not been denuded. Whereas the fact is that today they are in a state of disarray because the top leadership has been killed by the Israeli Defense Forces. So the next few weeks will be very critical and crucial for Israel because a lot of attacks will be launched on the top leadership of Israel, be it senior government officials or senior military officials.
All right. We also have with us Ambassador Suresh Goyal. He's a former diplomat. Suresh Goyal, what can you tell now? Earlier, after Sinwar's death took place, Iran's leader Ayatollah also stated that this will not halt axis of resistance and that Hamas will endure. And now we are seeing that Hezbollah has launched 3 drones and one of them targeting Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence. So is this a warning or it continues to take an ugly turn as we are seeing?
Madam Anchor, after what happened in Israel, after the death of Nasrallah and after the death of Yahya Sinwar, anybody who expected that there would be a calm down or there would be a ceasefire or there would be a stoppage of hostilities must have been living in a fairy world. Because the way things are escalating, the way things are happening, it is going to lead to further escalation. Nobody is going to withdraw because after more damage is done. And therefore, some kind of an action by either Hamas or Hezbollah was more or less certain. But that it happened so quickly and so fast that it happened in the way it has happened near Netanyahu's home, that's a little surprising. Because till now, no side has gone to the extent of attacking the politically important leadership. I'm not talking about Hezbollah, Hamas here in this case, but I'm talking about the politically established leadership. It has not happened so far. This is the first time that Netanyahu's residence or the vicinity has been directly attacked. I expect that things are going to further escalate, would take an ugly turn. Israel is not going to keep quiet. They would take certain action, which they would call to deter the terrorist elements from taking further action, but it will not deter anyone. It is going to further. So unless the 2 sides now, or 3 or 4 sides, whichever sides are there, they think of really coming to a table and talk in terms of de-escalating, ceasefire, etc., I am afraid that things are going to come back to us. Thank you very much.
We also have J.S. Sodhi. As Ambassador Suresh Goyal also stated that this is the first time that an attack around Prime Minister Netanyahu's, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's vicinity took place. So that's a major development that has taken place, and with no scope, do you see that there's the scope of de-escalation is not possible anymore at all?
Well, Ria, I totally agree with every word what Ambassador Goyal has spoken. In fact, yesterday Hezbollah released their escalation plan, in which they have spelled out very clearly that the coming days and weeks will be very bad for Israel because they are going to launch fresh strikes with greater ferocity on Israel. And this has been proved today by the 3 drones that they sent towards the private residence of Netanyahu. So I don't see any calm or peace or ceasefire happening in the next few weeks because each side will now try to show that they have an upper hand. What depends now is how US plays an important role, because this prolonged war is neither benefiting the Israelis, nor the Palestinians, nor the world as such, because the supply chains are getting affected, the cost of oil is increasing, and as a result, the common citizen of the world is facing the brunt. It is high time that the 3 superpowers of the world, Russia, China, and USA, come together and end this war, because any war or conflict in the world can be ended only by the 3 superpowers of the world, that is Russia, USA, and China. as far as the situation in Middle East is concerned, it will be very tense and turbulent in the coming weeks because both Hamas and Hezbollah will try to show to their warriors, will try to show to the Arab world that their top leadership getting eliminated has not made any materialistic difference. Israel, on the other hand, will show that by killing the top leadership of Hamas and Hezbollah, they have weakened both these organizations. So next few weeks indeed will be very tense and turbulent.
All right, both Ambassador Suresh Goyal and Jay Story stay with us. We have another breaking news coming in. Israeli spokesperson has confirmed that Netanyahu is safe. Further, it has been added that Netanyahu was not in the vicinity and there have been no casualties that have been reported. We have with us my colleague Brian Thomas on the telecast. Brian, now that the reports have come in that Netanyahu was not in the vicinity, what are the details that are coming in?
Well, Ria, definitely now, yes, the Israeli Prime Minister's office has confirmed that Netanyahu's residence in, Kasaria has targeted by a drone attack, and even IDF also says that both Netanyahu and his wife were not present during the attack and they are safe, and there were no injuries also that was reported. And there was one drone hit which hit a structure in the area, while two others were intercepted. Sirens were also activated in the Gilot area, but there were no casualties and the situation still remains under investigation. Meanwhile, even Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has witnessed and addressed the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, stating that despite Sinwar's death, Hamas remains strong and will survive. And Sinwar, also regarded as a key figure in orchestrating this very attack, was killed in this very Israeli military operation in Gaza as well. Yeah.
All right, I'd like to get Ambassador Suresh Goyal on the telecast. Ambassador Suresh Goyal, earlier we have seen that Israel launched, conducted attack on hospitals in Gaza, and it led to at least 44 Palestinians being killed and more than 80 were wounded in this strike. And this took place in a refugee camp in the North Gaza's Jabalia and Maghazi refugee camps. So this ongoing situation continues to escalate, and now Israeli Prime Minister was not in the vicinity, but this back and forth continues to take place. This was just earlier that this took place, this strike, and now the drones were targeted near Netanyahu's house. How do you assess this situation?
If you look at the situation now in the Middle East, particularly Gaza, particularly Palestinian area of Gaza. Gaza is practically decimated. It's a rubble. Practically the entire population from Gaza is now living in the refugee camps or in the hotels, and those areas are also being attacked. And now, because of the restrictions of the movement of the Palestinians from the IDF, they have nowhere else to go but except to either stay there and face the bombardment. The food supplies are thinning. So as far as the civil population in Gaza is concerned, it's a horrible state really for civil population to live in. But the point really here is that they are being considered as a collateral of Israeli war against Hamas. And they have clearly indicated that unless they finish Hamas off, they are not going to stay. I mean, they are not going to keep quiet. They are not going to give up. Now, when you say finish Hamas, what is the definition of finishing Hamas? Do you finish Hamas present leadership? Yahya Sinwar is there, but we do not know. There will be second-rank leaders, more people. Or do you going to finish that there should be nobody actually to follow up as the leaders in Hamas? That is unlikely to happen. So that's the reason I'm saying that I think Israel as a politically, militarily strong state will be the key feature of the Middle East map now. What happens to Lebanon, what happens to Gaza, West Bank, or to Yemen, etc., is yet to be seen.
All
really.
right, Ambassador Suresh Goyal, we also have with us Duri Tal. He's an Israeli journalist joining us on the telecast. Thank you so much for joining. Duri, I'd like to pose this question to you, is that this attack that took place, the drones were, three drones were launched, and one of them has been intercepted around the vicinity of Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence. So this is the first time an attack of such has taken near the vicinity of Israeli Prime Minister.
I'm on?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can go on.
Okay, now I can hear. Yes, there was a bomb this morning in Caesarea. Caesarea is the Prime Minister of Netanyahu house, a private house. According to what we read in the news, there was no alarm when there was a bomb over there. But it didn't hurt Netanyahu's house, and he wasn't at home, not him and not his wife.
So this also comes, this attack comes after the Hamas top chief Yahya. He's dead. This attack takes just after that. So is there the de-escalation talks? Has that hit stalemate now?
It's probably because the attack that we did in Gaza and we did in Lebanon for sure. They said that the bomb was supposed to hit Netanyahu's house, but as we all know, it didn't hit them, so it's okay now. But the situation is tough in Israel, of course. Caesarea is not a place that there was a bomb over there. It's in the center of Israel. And what is most important, that there was no alarm. So the people over there didn't know that something happened till they heard the bomb over there, and then they understand that something happened.
All right. We also have with us on the telecast JS Sodi. JS Sodi, as I've also stated earlier, that Iran's leader have also stated that the axis of resistance will not stop. It will not halt after the death of Yahya, and this drone attack is it signals to that when it comes to that, how they are saying that Hamas will still continue to take initiative, and it will also still endure. That is what he has stated. So that, do you think that this is in a way a signal to that statement?
Well, Ria, with Israel's precision killings of Yahya Sinwar, Ismail Haniyeh and Hassan Nasrallah, the axis of resistance has got terribly weakened. And just 2-3 days back, when the US Air Force with their B-2 bombers destroyed many of the Houthis, logistical sites in Yemen, it sent a clear message to Iran that if need be, USA will also plunge in war in case Iran again attacks Israel. So overall, if we see the axis of resistance is getting weakened with each passing day, and Iran obviously will, give such statement to show that nothing is happening to the axis of resistance, because Iran wants whatever warriors are left of the axis of resistance, they should not give up, they should not surrender, they should not agree for a ceasefire for Israel. So it is basically a psychological war which is being played by Iran to ensure that the axis of resistance keeps on continuing to fight Israel. But with each passing day, the Israeli defense forces are gaining an upper hand, which the initial setback that they had suffered on 7th October last year, where the IDF has redeemed that, I would say colossal failure of 7th October last year, and now the IDF and Israel is in total control in the Middle East.
All right. We also have Ambassador Suresh Goyal. As Jay's story has stated that Israel has an upper hand in this situation. Do you think that after this attack, after this drone attack, that it's sort of like a warning to that upper hand, or Israel will still continue its defenses are still on the upper hand? All right, I will pose the same question to JS Sodi. Do you think, as you have also stated that Israel has an upper hand, do you think that now this attack was an effort to diminish that upper hand?
Well, yes, we are definitely. This 3-drone attack by the Hezbollah was clearly to act as a deterrent against the upper hand that Israel is gaining in the Middle East. And the Israeli Defense Forces have lived up to the reputation being the finest fighting force in the world, and they have, destroyed 2 drones which before they could hit the intended targets. And the 3rd drone which has hit the target has not caused much damage. So the point remains that the Hezbollah is still going to try in the coming weeks all that it can do to inflict maximum damage it can on Israel. But the Israeli Defense Forces, now their morale is very high. The motivation levels have exceeded all possible limits with the killing of the 3 top leadership of Hamas as well as Hezbollah. So whatever attacks now Hezbollah or Hamas does on the Israeli soil, they will be thwarted by the Israeli Defense Forces.
I'll ask you another question. Is that there's also this humanitarian crisis at this point. Israel attacked hospitals in Gaza earlier, and at least 44 Palestinians have been killed and more than 80 have been wounded. And this took place in refugee camps in Jabalia and Maghazi. So how do you assess that situation, that the humanitarian crisis, which is a major one that has been going on for months at this point?
Well, Ria, any professional army, when it goes to war or counter-terrorism operations, it always ensures that there is no collateral damage to the civilians. But in the fog of war, such incidents do take place, and that is all part of war. It is not intentional. It is just because the targets get shifted a bit, or the missile attacks are not that precise. For some reason, they get swayed a bit. So because of that, the attacks on this civilian infrastructure happens. But having been part of a professional army myself, I was more than 21 years in the Indian Army. I can tell no professional army in the world ever targets civilians. But like I said earlier, some attacks like this, some damage like this happens because when a war is on, or when the counter-terrorism operations are on, in the fog of such battle or war scenarios, a few incidents like this do take place.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.